We all have people that we just don't vibe with. We just don't like certain people. They just get under our skin. It's just something about them that's just like, I don't want to deal with this person. I don't like you. And I'm going to share with you the 3 tips that I've learned that have really changed my life lately. They've really shifted my perception of how I view everyone around me. So this goes towards the people I don't like, my enemies, per se, or anyone else. Really anyone that you see on the street. So here we go. So the first tip is that these people, the people that you don't vibe with, they simply don't know any better. So you were brought up a certain way, you have certain morals and values that you follow because of your past, your programming, and these people have different paths, different programming. They have different morals. Their lives were completely different than yours. So they're going about life to the best that they know how. They don't know any better. There was a quote in this book that I read, The Way to Love. I want to share. It's something like this, is that nobody can sin in awareness. And this has changed my life, just that quote. So that's huge. And that's number 1, that they just don't know any better. And number 2 is that your enemies, the people that you don't like, they could be portraying a part that you don't want to view about yourself. So I have a little story here. So I worked at Whole Foods. It was my last job, and there was this boy that came in towards the end of when I was working there, and I just didn't vibe with him. I just didn't like this guy. You know, he was like a real fuckboy. For lack of better words, that was what he was. You know, he sagged his pants, he acted like he didn't care at all. You know, I heard him talk. He talked about partying all the time, he talked about drinking all the time, he talked about, you know, hooking up with girls all the time. And I don't like that, you know? I don't like people like that. I don't agree with that. I don't live like that. So, of course, you know, this masculine persona, this person that's displaying all these characteristics that I don't vibe with, I'm not going to really like. And I'm going to view him in a way that, like, I don't like this person. I don't want to deal with this person. And if I knew this second tip, it would have changed everything. So here we go. The second tip is that they could be portraying something in you, meaning me, that you didn't want to deal with. So that was very true. So in my mind, in my body, I was holding on to a little part of my past that I didn't want to let go of. So I was holding on to this, like, partying Kara, like this crazy person, you know, that I was years ago. And I'm not that person anymore, but I was still holding on to a little part of it because I still was I didn't want to let go of that. I didn't want to see it, and I didn't want to deal with that in a way. And it makes perfect sense because me not wanting to deal with that, it just made me dislike this person that much more because I wasn't able to see that in myself. So now seeing that, I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to let go of that. I don't need that in my life anymore. And this person just doesn't know any better. And that's really it. It's just like, he doesn't know any better. That's his programming. That's the way he wants to live life. And that's not how I want to live life anymore. So that's number 2, that your enemies, these people that you see, they could just be portraying a part of yourself that you don't want to really look into. So that's something to really think about. And then number 3 is that these people, they're not living up to your expectations. So with this situation with this person at Whole Foods, previously I had worked with pretty awesome crew. Like, everyone at the store was really great. Like, I enjoyed going to work for the first, like, year before I got off Adderall, which is a different story. But I enjoyed the people around me for the most part. And then this dude comes in, and I'm like, what? Like, I don't want to work with this person. I don't want to deal with this. You know, I don't want to see this person. And he didn't live up to my subconscious programming, my expectations on who I was going to work with. Meanwhile, I don't control who works at Whole Foods. You know, I don't control who comes into a certain position, who is around me. That wasn't my control, and I had expectations that weren't being lived up to. by this person, and I took it out on him. I was like, you're not one of them, so I don't like you, you know? So that's number 3, that they don't live up to your subconscious programming. And this last one can go, this last one can go with everyone that you see everywhere for anything. So think about it. So you pass someone on the street, and this used to really annoy me when someone passed you on the street and they didn't like wave at you after you waved at them. And I'm like, what the hell, you know? Like, I just waved at you. Like, what's wrong with me? You know, do you like not like gay people? Do you not like women? It could be a million things. You have no idea what's going on in their head. Meanwhile, you're like offended that this person didn't wave back or whatnot. Meanwhile, that could just be their programming. They could just do that to everyone. They could just not have that awareness. You know, you can't sin in awareness. So these people, maybe that's how they go about their everyday life. Maybe they've never waved at anyone. Maybe they really don't like women or really don't like gay people. Who knows? And really, who cares? Because their life, their past, is totally different from your life and your past. And the way that they go about life is totally different than the way that you go about life. So instead of walking around finding ways to be offended, as Sebastian Maniscalco says, I love that comic, comedian, you could just instead welcome it and say, hey, like, this person doesn't know any better. Like, I'll wave at people now. If they don't wave back, I'm like, whatever, you know? Like, I'm still gonna wave at everyone because that's truest to me, you know? And whoever wants to wave back, that's wonderful. And whoever doesn't want to wave back, that's wonderful. And that's how it is. So those 3 things have literally changed my life lately. So I'll repeat them shortly here. So the 3 ways that you could instantly not hate your enemies are: number 1, know that they don't know any better. You can't sin in awareness. Number 2, look into why you dislike your enemies. Maybe they're portraying a quality that you don't want to look at in yourself. And number 3, they could just not be living up to your subconscious programming, your expectations of what this person should be.